Okay, we're back. It's part three. I know you guys and gals love multi-parts here. Lots of stuff to get into, lots of details. That's where you learn lots when you're looking at the details of things, what's going on. Please leave me feedback in the comments if you can think of anything that might be um, more helpful. Like right now, I'm thinking, do I zoom in a little more closer to the paper? But then you're not going to see my mixing and you're not going to see my palette and my brush and my water pail and some of these things. So I'm trying to see if I can shift my table. You probably don't need to see the water container and sponge. So if I can slide my setup down here a little bit. Sometimes I get lazy and just don't want to move stuff around. Let's see here. All right, that's a little better. All right, that's better. And if we could go a little more to the right here. Oh, go back this way. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, that's a little better. All right, so you get to see the palette and the painting closer. The painting's on like a bit of a angle. I would say it's about a 20-degree angle. So I guess if I look at it from an angle perspective, my board's about, this is 45 degrees like that. My board's probably about like this. Actually, this is a 90 degree right there. So this would be 45 degrees. Yeah, it's about 20 degrees. I have a prop underneath my board like that. So that's about 20 degrees angle for my board here with my paper on it. And you can kind of see it by the video here that it's kind of on an angle over here on the right side. So if you don't see that angle on a video, then you know the person's working completely flat straight. And the more of an angle here you see. And then also too, that's if the person's got their camera set straight up on top or over the top of the painting. Not to get into too much detail, but you can kind of figure stuff out sometimes if you're watching somebody's video and they don't mention maybe the angle of the paper or whatever. In any case, this looks a little better, I think, just overall. You can see the painting a little more closely. And my mixing over here. So now we're going to do more sap green, French ultramarine blue, burnt umber, nice dark for some of our foliage here. Okay, also some burnt umber, mineral violet, French ultramarine blue, and then here we're going to do some so here I'm going to do some loose trees, just like that. So those are the trunks. And then for the leaves, let's use some yellow ochre too. And then here when we do our leaves, we just have fun. We're thinking trees, upward strokes maybe, like this. Wind is going this way. So I'm going to make my leaves flow that way too. I just want to make sure I'm okay. Leave lots of white spaces. I think that looks good. What do you think? Do the white spaces, the light spaces look good between the leaves, or would it look better if we just went with just a large block of color like this. I think this looks better, leaving some light between the leaves. So I try different things. I always try different things, see how they look. Okay, we're doing some interesting leaf shapes and tree shapes around this roof. Okay, we'll mix up some more French ultramarine blue, sap green, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and then we can darken up a few spots within this on the under, some of the under portions where there's less light, so the light's coming from the top. Okay, and we'll use some more yellow ochre. Go, and we have some okay, I'm not getting too fussy here. I'm trying to just get those nice abstract looking branches. Maybe some more over here. Some of the lighter yellow ochre. Maybe I'll try to mix over here a little bit. Looks like it's kind of dark. And I'm probably going to just have one or two branches over here, maybe just to kind of like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. A little bit of a splash or two. Okay. Okay, so in essence here what we're trying to do is maybe make a nice kind of like pathway of nice darks, spots of dark colors kind of going through the painting. So we'll continue to add more darks. Right now we're going to put some darks here. We'll do some greens. We'll do some shadowing. Under the eaves of the roof. Go a little darker there. Okay, now let's French ultramarine blue and mineral violet, like purplish. That kind of looks good, like shade, like in the shade. The and then we can go with some more dark French ultramarine blue, burnt umber. Burnt sienna. And maybe we'll do some. So I wouldn't go back in where those wet shadows are. That would be a problem. That would kind of smear and blossom. And so here we'll do just do some couple windows quickly. Here you can let these sit for a few minutes and then come back in when it's a little more dry, and then just add a little bit of maybe I'll make that a door there. So as that dries a little bit, then you can kind of add more water and finish things up a little bit. This is a little bit too wet where the shadows are, because I want a couple windows over here. I'll let that go for now. Check our time. Let's again, we're sticking with the same colors. You'll notice I haven't really used many. I haven't used a lot of the colors of my palette. I've used actually a limited palette, really, in a sense. I've used essentially a limited palette. You hear that term a lot. So it just means I'm really using a limited amount of paints. I'm not really using all of the paints. I'm just using a few. So I'm just using basically sap green, French ultramarine blue with just a touch of the mineral violet, and some burnt umber and burnt sienna, and then some yellow ochre. And that's pretty much it. So now we'll some French ultramarine blue, sap green, I'm going to start doing the ocean water. Okay, so I'm doing the water. I think green looks really good in water, so we're going to do some greens. Again, this is your painting. Here I'm just doing the way water would kind of flow back and forth with the brush. I'm just doing the same thing with the brush. Less is more here. Just those few sways of the brush, and we have ocean waves and water, and we don't have to sit here and get too technical about it. A couple splashes for water. And we're really in a good phase of the painting now. We're sort of, everything is looking good. It's got a finished look to it now. Everything's coming together. Again, always remember with watercolors, always wait till you're almost completely done before you really get, worried about anything, because a lot of times watercolors don't look so great when you're in the middle of painting. They look much better toward the very, very end of the painting. So I always remember that. I always struggled with that because a lot of times I'd start a painting, and by the time I was just way halfway through it, I'd be like ready to throw it out the window and start another one. Then I really heard another artist say that, like, never judge a watercolor painting when you're first starting it. Always let it develop, and then you can worry about it at that point. And then usually by that time it's coming together and looks fine. So this is looking good. We've got a little bit more to do. We'll probably have to do one more part where we can kind of button everything up and have everything exactly the way we want it to look without being too overly finished. So let's put some rocks in. French ultramarine blue, burnt umber. How do you feel these paintings look? These more loose and abstract looking paintings. Does everyone out there like these? Or I'm often curious to what people think about different styles of watercolor painting. Okay, and then I just connect those up a little bit. And some more lines just to kind of, and then maybe